Three, two, one, go.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to 321 Author Chats. I am Chelsea Burton Dunn, and this is Nick Smith, and we are both for Horsemen Publications authors going to PopCon this May. It's May 8th through 10th, and we are just super excited. So we're gonna answer some fun questions and have a great chat. So Nick, what do you write?
That is a great question. I feel like a rock star after that intro.
We are rock stars, just, bookish ones.
Yeah, booky ones. I write mystery novels with cats and dogs in. So I wrote a series called Whiskers in the Dark. You can check out the first book, Milk Treading, or the second book, Cat City, or the kind of spin-off third book, The Cat Who Stole the Cream, or even you can read the big finale, The Bay of Hounds.
It's a complete series. That's amazing. It's so hard. I feel like people picking up a series, and I have two series that aren't complete and one series that is. And so it's always nice to be like, there's a complete one right here. You get the whole story.
So which one is complete, or which ones?
So I just had like a rapid release trilogy come out. It's a mafia romance thriller, and it is a 3-book complete series called Dolce Obscurita, and it's, like I said, a mafia romance based in KC, which is where Kansas City, which is where I'm from. And I just made a whole video on why I did go with KC. A lot of people have asked me, why would you put a mafia book in Kansas City? And I was like, well, because the mafia is really big here, actually. So just not as notorious as the Chicago or, New York or anything like that. So, yeah. So
That sounds really cool.
Indeed. So that's my big push recently is that, but I also have some dark romance thrillers, 2 other series, one called the By Moonlight series, which has 4 books in it so far, and then the Dead Man's Hand series, which has 2 books in it so far. It will be a trilogy as well. And if you like, paranormal, immortal, magical creatures in urban settings, it's for you.
That is awesome. I'm going to gate crash a dark romance book club tomorrow. So I'm going to tell them about your books.
Please.
And I just don't know what to expect, really. I'm told it's about dark romance, but it doesn't have to be just dark romance. And often these books, they kind of interlap into other genres, don't they?
Absolutely. Like I said, all of mine are thrillers and have suspense going on in them, some big overarching themes, but ultimately, the human connection. We'll put a little asterisk there with some of them, but the emotional relationship element is something that, is a big part of all of mine. So
it's important, to have those relationships, something we can relate to, even with the cats and dogs. They have very intertwined relationships. So what one character does affects all the other characters.
Exactly. When we're writing these things, especially even if our characters aren't necessarily human, but the human readers are needing to connect to our characters. So we have to, have the full range, I feel like, of human experience going on. So, yeah.
No pressure. Yes.
Okay, well, let's start on our interesting questions, shall we? Okay, what is one thing that you always gravitate toward at conventions, Nick?
For me, it's the panels. Yeah. Especially the smaller, more intimate ones, because that way you do get to know the panelists better. I always try and ask a question so that I feel more involved, and it's kind of my way of thanking the panelists as well by participating and not just sitting there like, tell me stuff.
Right.
So I'm one of those geeks who will line up at the microphone, or if it's a tiny panel, just say, hey, answer a question.
Yeah.
As a panelist myself, I appreciate the support of people who turn up and they listen, and hopefully they have a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I I never before I started going to conventions as an author,
Mhm.
um I had never like really gone to a panel at a convention before, which sounds silly, but I guess the people I was with or whatever, it just didn't end
Sure.
up working out. Um, and I've just really learned to love the panel experience as both someone listening it listening in and being able to ask questions of the panelists and being on the panel myself. It's just like you get to learn something new and have a really awesome conversation. And often they lead in interesting ways, maybe sometimes not fully staying attached to the topic at hand. And I kind of love
Mhm.
that. It's just how they are allowed to evolve. And then you get to have great
Absolutely.
combos with interesting people. And that's some of my favorite things to
You
do.
do. You get to know people behind the scenes and pick their brains.
Yeah.
So you might line up to meet a celebrity. A lot of people do that, but actually sitting on those panels or attending them, you hear things you might not have time to hear if you're meeting someone and then, okay, on to the next one.
Exactly. Yeah. I I guess my answer to the question is kind of
Mhm.
it's not necessarily any one thing at conventions. I myself am more of an introverted person, but I find that at conventions, because there's so many people who are there for, a similar purpose, it's so easy to talk to everyone because you can kind of find a point of connection with almost
Yeah,
anyone at these things.
a common interest, yes.
Yeah. And and even just telling somebody like, "Hey, I love your cosplay," or
Mhm.
"Where did you get that cool thing? Did you get it here? I wanna go to that booth," you know?
Yeah,
Um, it just it feels like a very community experience even if everyone there isn't necessarily from the same place. So,
yeah,
one of my favorite things.
love it.
Alright, let's see. Oh, well, speaking of panels, if you could be on your dream panel, what would the topic be?
Oh, wow. Um, I'm a filmmaker and I just moderated a panel at Pensacon down in Pensacola, and it was all about indie filmmaking. And the attendees, they were a real mixture, young and old, experienced, newbies. Um, and that's my dream panel, just talking about making movies. Simple
Yeah.
as that. So offering practical ideas to people who need them or people who go, yeah, 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 I agree with that. Um, yeah, that is my dream panel. I get to do that, which is awesome.
Yeah,
How
that's
about your dream panel?
um, I thought about this a little bit.
Hmm.
I kind of feel like my dream panel would be talking about morally gray characters because I've really, that's I think we're all morally gray. Like as humans,
Hmm.
people are not perfect. So I think that those characters in books and films tend to be the most interesting characters because they're so much more real, like an anti-hero or when they really give humanity to the villain and let people see how they became that villain or maybe
Yes.
their rationale for why they're behaving that way, and it
Hmm.
almost makes it harder for you to hate them because it's something that us humans can connect to, or us people on the other side of it absorbing the material can connect to. And so that's part of the reason I just feel like most of my characters are morally gray. Even my heroes, they're not perfect. They always have quirks and strange things about them or things that might really irritate readers about
Sure.
them. But that's what makes them real and relatable. And so that's my one of my favorite things to write. So I think I could talk about that for a really long time.
Oh, I want to see that panel. Yeah.
Maybe next year at PopCon, I'll make that a panel and see who wants to join me.
I think a lot of the moral grayness for characters is because they haven't seen the consequences, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, well, if I do something wrong, so what?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, you know, the story can lead to the so what, the consequences of their actions. I think readers like to be along for that ride.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you think about some of the like more popular or famous characters that, you know, maybe at the start they seemed like they were the most horrible villain, like Darth Vader, for example.
Yeah.
Original Star Wars here. But like he's morally gray. Like it turns out, you know, at the end he redeems himself, and it was a journey he had to go on to get there. And, you know, so it's kind of like those are always the best and most interesting characters to me. So because they go on that journey.
A journey of love and deception. Yes.
Exactly. Character growth, crazy. Okay, let's see. You know what, Nick? I just wanted to say that I feel like as time has gone on, my favorite movies are always independent films because there's you know, more heart and clear like love and everything into making them.
Yeah.
So it's real passion, I guess, when people put that much time and effort into making an independent film that doesn't have the backing of these big studios. And I think that they're just more real and tell better stories. So,
well, they're less predictable stories, aren't they? Because we're not checking all the boxes saying, you know, we want all these millions of people to see this film, and the teenagers and the old people and everybody.
Right.
We're just, hey, what can we do? Yeah, with the resources that we have.
And they're just always so much more interesting and fun to watch, and less predictable. So you are actually on the edge of your seat. As someone who I feel like I've gotten so bored with so many mainstream movies because it feels like it's just factory made at this point, same sort of arc and everything going on, very little twists. That it makes so much more sense to me to find actual joy from watching independent things that are fresh. They're actually, you know, good.
Yeah, good helps.
Yes. And maybe not like super overdone with computer graphics, you know.
No, I think there's going to be more and more of an interest in handmade films, you know, films that are not full of CGI, not post-heavy, but they are just, you know, what can we do in camera? What can we do with the acting? How can we tell a story with characters?
Yeah. It's more, you know, thoughtful and creative and artistic to have to do things within the limits of those things, instead of being like, well, we'll just make it in a computer and then it's not real and authentic. And there are some things that you can't show. You know, I have a lot of magic in my books and stuff, but there are tricks that you can use with a camera and, you know, all sorts of stuff that could make things happen. So, and makeup and all sorts of stuff. So anyway.
I grew up with BBC TV, and, you know, they were telling rocking good stories with low budgets. So they needed the viewers to use their imaginations to fill in the gaps. Yeah. You might hear a fight scene and a window break, and your mind would fill in, you know, what's actually happening. And then they would use sound, and they would use, you know, very simple lighting techniques to keep you watching.
Exactly. I love it. Okay, let's see. We have one last question, which is going to be hard for me, so I'm glad you're answering it first. Okay, what's one fictional world, books, movies, television, anything, that you would love to escape to, and why?
Okay. Yeah, escape. That's you know, a very loaded word, because it could be a quick escape or it could be escape forever.
True.
When I was a kid, my fantasy was to escape to a desert island.
Oh.
So inspired by books like Robinson Crusoe, Walter Farley's The Black Stallion. Be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you get away from more responsibilities. You know, kind of have to survive
Yeah.
with no one else around and just have that tranquility.
Yeah.
I was all into that as a kid. Now that would drive me crazy. I would love to be able to do that. So I think now I would like to escape to a future city with
Mm.
holograms and flying cars like Blade Runner, Cowboy Bebop, that kind of
Ooh, yeah.
city, but without the killer robots. I wouldn't want.
Yeah.
No, we
Let's
don't
not
want
do
those.
that.
No. But yeah, I think that would be really cool. I could nip over to there and come back again.
As if that's the rules we're going by, that we
Mm-hmm.
get to come back again, that helps me a little.
Okay, good.
Because I was thinking about it when I was a kid. I've sort of told this story before,
Mhm.
but I had a harder time reading when I was younger. So my grandfather took me to the library regularly and
Well,
basically did
that's
a
cool.
miniature book club with me where we would choose the same book, read it, and talk about it. And the book series that I fell in love with because of him and got me to be a reader was The Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so as a child, I think that I really wanted to be able to escape to Narnia. And so that was the first thing that popped into my head, probably just a
Yeah.
recurring thought for my whole life was, can just pop into a wardrobe real fast and head on over to Narnia. But now I kind of feel like I'd like to step into a world that was basically like an urban fantasy situation where there's a lot of our modern conveniences, but
Mm.
magic, you
Yeah.
know? Um, that's I think that would be my preferences. I'd love that magic would still exist, but we still had a lot of what we have now in modernity, not the epic fantasy worlds.
Right. So you're not talking like magic where you wouldn't have a remote control for the TV. You'd have a wand, or you'd just cast a spell to change a channel.
I mean, maybe it depends on the type of magic you'd have. But
Okay.
so there'd be people with varying levels of magic. And so there would be technology, maybe magic enhanced technology or something
Yeah.
like we have today. But yeah, so I feel like it would just be whimsical and make life much more interesting.
Yes, we need whimsy.
Yes.
With Narnia, you'd have to pick the right time to go. You know, you don't want to go right smack dab in wartime.
Yeah,
You want
that
to go before or after.
would exactly. Oh, all right. Well, this was awesome. I always love chatting with you, Nick.
It's fun, isn't it?
It is. It's a fun, especially when we get to talk about interesting things like this. And we will both be on quite a number of panels in
Mhm.
PopCon. So you should come and see us and watch our panels and ask us questions while we're on those panels about a lovely wide variety of things. And again, that's May 8th through 10th. We'll be in Indianapolis at PopCon, and we hope that you come and see us there. And Nick, tell everyone where
Yes.
they can find you.
Oh, that's a great question. That's the best question you've asked. You can visit my website, nicksmithfilms.com, or you can find me on Instagram, #NickSmithFilms, or even you can go on YouTube and watch some of my films at, guess what, Nick Smith Films. So nice and easy to remember. And of course, it would be lovely to meet you in person. So if you can, please come to PopCon. This will be my second. It was just great to see so many books, to be surrounded by books, which is another great escape.
Yes.
But all the Four Horsemen books and seeing what all the different authors had written and seeing the joy that the readers were getting from picking them up.
Yeah, it's an awesome experience. And PopCon in Indianapolis is a super inclusive and awesome space. And I just love being surrounded by all of the people there, especially the Four Horsemen. So come see us. Oh, and you can find me everywhere at Chelsea Burton Dunn author on social media, but then my website is chelseaburtondunn.com. Really easy.
Yeah, I can remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Bye.
You're welcome. Thanks. Goodbye.
3, 2, 1, go.